Welcome to this second lecture on algebra of sets. Today I will introduce some algebraic structures which are fundamental to our definition of axiomatic definition of probability. So, let us start with the first structure which I call as a ring. This is a non-empty class of subsets of. So, we continue with our previous definition of the universal set, that is omega. So, whatever sets we are considering, they will be subsets of omega. So, a non-empty class of subsets of omega is said to be a ring provided it satisfies the following two conditions. The conditions are that it should be closed under the operation of unions and differences. That is, if A and B belong to say script R. So, let me use the notation the non-empty class to be script R. So, if A and B belongs to R, then A union B belongs to R, and if A and B belong to R, then A minus B also belongs to R. That means, the ring is a structure which is closed under the operation of unions and differences. Let us consider some simple examples to illustrate what is a ring. So, for example, if I consider a class consisting of simply the null set phi, then this is a ring, because if I consider phi union phi, it is phi, and phi minus phi is also a phi. So, this is a ring. If I consider say the class of the set of all subsets of omega, that is the power set of omega, then this is also a ring, because all the sets under consideration will be subsets of omega only. If I consider say a class phi and A, where A is a subset of omega, then this is also a ring, because if I consider phi union A, then it is equal to A. If I consider A minus phi, it is A. It is, if I consider phi minus A, then it is phi. So, this is also a ring. So, if I consider say the class of all finite subsets of omega. Now, suppose I consider two subsets say A and B which are finite, then A union B and A minus B both are finite. Therefore, this is also a ring. Thus, we can see that a ring contains certain subsets of omega with certain property, and therefore, it may be useful to consider such a structure. Let me look at some of the properties of ring. For example, if I consider any ring, then phi will belong to that ring. That means, if I consider any set trivially for any ring R, since if I take any set say E belonging to R, since it is a non-empty set, so at least one set belongs there, and if I take E minus E, then it is phi. So, every ring will certainly consist of the null set. If I write say E minus F as E union F minus F, then here you can see that E union F will be certainly including F, and if E is any non-empty set, then E union F is certainly going to be larger than F. That means, F will be a proper subset of E union F. So, it follows that a non-empty class of sets closed under the formation of unions and proper differences is a ring. We can also see some other properties. For example, if I look at, say, symmetric difference, then symmetric difference is defined as E minus F union F minus E. Now, if E and F are in R, then E minus F and F minus E both are in R, and therefore its union is also in R. That means the symmetric difference of two sets E and F will belong to the ring if E and F belong to ring. That means a ring is also closed under the operation of symmetric differences. Similarly, if I consider, say, E intersection F, then this I can represent as E union F minus E delta F. Now, just in the previous statement we have proved that if E and F belong, then E delta F also belongs to R. E union F is already there, and therefore the difference is also in R. Therefore, this will also belong to R if E and F belong to R. That means a ring is also closed under the operation of symmetric differences and intersections. Since we have taken that if there are any two given sets A and B, then A union B belongs to R. Then by mathematical induction we can prove that if we have sets A1, A2, AN belonging to R, then union of AI's I is equal to 1 to n will also belong to R. That means the ring is closed under the operation of taking finite unions. In a similar way, we can also look at intersection AI, I is equal to 1 to n. Since we have already proved that for given two sets, the intersection is in R, therefore by induction we can prove that intersection AI, I is equal to 1 to n also will belong to R. That means a ring is closed under the operation of taking finite unions and finite intersections. We can consider an alternative definition of the ring in the form that if we consider a non-empty class of sets class of subsets of omega which is closed under the formation of intersections, proper differences, and disjoint unions. Then it is a ring. For example, if I consider, say, two sets A and B in the ring R, and if I look at, since already I have taken the differences, so A minus B is equal to A union B minus B, so proper differences are already there. If I take, say, union, then this union I can represent as A minus A intersection B union B minus A intersection B and A intersection B. Now here you see these three sets are disjoint. The first two are proper differences and this whole union is a disjoint union. Therefore, this will belong to R. So, this can be considered as an alternative definition of the structure ring. Let us consider some bigger example in the sense that it will consist of many more sets. Let me take omega to be the set of real numbers and R is the class of all finite unions of bounded, then semi closed. So, we can consider basically, say, left closed and right open or reverse. Basically, I am saying R is the collection of the sets of the form union I is equal to 1 to n AI Bi, where minus infinity less than ai less than bi less than infinity for I is equal to 1 to n. If we consider such collection, then this is a ring. You can look at the proof of this statement. Suppose I consider two such finite unions, then their union will again be a finite union. If I take, say, difference, let me explain the difference. Suppose I take only a1 b1 minus, say, a2 b2. You draw it on a line. Suppose this is a1, this is b1, this is closed, this is open. On this side you have a2 b2. Suppose this is the situation. Then if I consider a1 b1 minus a2 b2, then it is simply equal to a1 a2, which is again an interval of the same form. Therefore, so now if I consider unions and then I take their differences, then it will be a unions of the intervals of the same form, and therefore this is a ring. Let us consider, say, the difference that here unions are and intersections are treated in the definition of a ring. Here I say that if a ring is closed under intersections, then a class of sets closed under the formation of intersection and differences is not necessarily a ring. For example, if I consider R is equal to, say, phi 1 2, where omega is equal to 1 2, then this is not a ring. Here it is closed under the operation of taking intersections, but it is not a ring. So the definition of ring is not symmetric in the treatment of unions and intersections. If I consider, say, a class which is closed under the formation of, say, symmetric differences and intersections, then it will be a ring. For example, if I consider, say, E union F, then it can be represented as E delta F delta E intersection F. Similarly, if I consider E minus F, then this I can write as E delta of E intersection F. So you can see that the sets, the class of sets which are closed under the formation of symmetric differences and intersections, they are ring. On the other hand, if we consider it is closed under the operation of symmetric differences and unions, then also we get a ring. Therefore, the definition of ring becomes symmetric in unions and intersections if we replace difference by a symmetric difference. Then further thing is that suppose I say R1 is a ring and R2 is a ring. Then if I take the intersection of this, let me call it R, then this is also a ring. For example, if I take, say, the sets A, B belonging to R, then this implies that A and B both belong to R1 and both belong to R2 as well. Now, since R1 is a ring and R2 is a ring, that means that A union B and A minus B will belong to both R1 and R2. And this will mean that A union B and A minus B belong to R1 intersection R2. Therefore, the intersection of two rings is again a ring. Ring is one of the primary structures in the study of algebraic structures. Now we proceed to define slightly larger structures. The first of this generalization is in the form of a field R and algebra. It is also called an algebra. So if I consider a non-empty class of subsets of omega, it is said to be an algebra. A non-empty class of subsets of omega is said to be an algebra are a field if it satisfies the following two properties. That is, if A and B belong to the class. So, let me denote this class as script A, then this implies that A union B belongs to A, and the second is that A belongs to script A implies that A complement belongs to script A. Now, if you look at this definition is a little modification of the definition of the ring. A ring was closed under the operation of forming unions and differences. Here, a field or an algebra is closed under the operation of unions, and in place of differences, the property has been replaced by it is closed under the operation of taking complementations. So, now let us look at the consequences of this definition. How does it behave in the sense, or you can say with respect to a ring? So, the first is that given any set E, its complement will be there, and therefore its union E union E complement will be there. Now, this is the full set, that means this will belong to algebra. So, you have seen that a ring always consisted of the empty set. Now, the full set consists of always included in an algebra, and now you take omega complement, that is equal to phi, then this will also belong to an algebra. Our second remark is that every algebra is a ring. Now, to prove this statement, we have to prove that the difference between two sets will belong to the algebra. Now, if I take A and B as two sets in algebra, then A minus B I can express as A intersection B complement, which is equal to A complement union B whole complement. Now, by the definition of algebra, if A belongs to algebra, then A complement belongs to an algebra. Now, A complement union B will belong to algebra, and therefore its complementation will belong to an algebra. Therefore, if A and B belong to the algebra, then A minus B also belongs, and therefore every algebra is a ring. So, in some sense, now you can say that algebra is an extension of the definition of the ring. Alternatively, we can look at it that if I consider a ring and I include the set omega here, then this becomes an algebra, because if I have put omega there, then for any given set its complementation can be obtained by taking omega minus that given set, and therefore the ring will become automatically an algebra. Next is the property of the intersections. So, since the ring always is closed under the intersections, therefore an algebra is also closed under intersections. Since a ring was closed under symmetric differences, an algebra is also closed under symmetric differences. Let us look at certain examples here. So, if I consider say phi omega, then this is, you can say, an smallest algebra. If I include A and A complement, then you can consider it as the smallest algebra containing the set A. If I consider the power set of omega, certainly it is an algebra because all the subsets are already included here. See, if I consider a set like phi, A and omega, then this is not an algebra because A complement is not there. We have considered the class of all finite subsets of omega, where omega may be infinite. then this is not an algebra. This was a ring, but this cannot be an algebra because the complementation of a finite set will become infinite set, and that is not there in this class. So this cannot be an algebra. Let us take some non-trivial example here. Let omega be an uncountable set. Let us define the set A to be the class of all countable subsets of omega. Then once again, if I consider a countable subset of omega, its complement will become uncountable, and therefore this A cannot be an algebra. However, you can see that it will be a ring, because if I take any two countable sets, its union is again a countable set, and if I take difference of the two countable sets, it can be a finite or a countable set. Therefore, it will be a ring. From these examples, it is clear that an algebra or a field is an extension of the definition of a ring, in the sense that it contains some more sets. Let us consider omega to be the n-dimensional Euclidean space, and let us consider A to be the class of all finite unions of the intervals of the form, say x1, x2, xn, where ai is less than or equal to xi less than bi less than infinity, for let me put this as, say, j is equal to 1 to k, and here I is equal to 1 to n. So basically you can consider them as unions of certain cells. Then this is a ring but not an algebra. The reason is that why it is not an algebra, because if I take the complementation of such a set, then that will be say minus infinity to ai and union bi to infinity, which is not a set of this form. Let us construct some sets, some classes which may be algebra. So let us consider, say, X to be an uncountable set, and A is the class of all subsets of omega, such that either E is countable or E complement is countable. So you can see that this is an extension of the example 6, where we considered only countable subsets. Now here I am considering those sets which may be themselves countable or their complements may be uncountable. Then the claim is that A is an algebra. To look at a proof of this statement, let us see. Suppose I consider E to be in A, then by the definition of the class E, either E is countable, then if I look at E complement, then the complement of that is countable. If E is uncountable, that is E complement is countable, then E will satisfy the same property. Therefore, this implies that E complement belongs to A. If I consider two sets, say E and F, belonging to A, then there are different cases. see E and F both countable. If both of them are countable, then E union F is also countable. If I have, say, E complement and F countable, then we can write E union F complement as E complement intersection F, which is a subset of E complement. So this is countable. Suppose both E complement and F complement are countable, then we can express E union F complement as E complement intersection F complement, and since both E complement and F complement are countable, the intersection is also countable. The case where E and F complement are countable is similar to this, because in that case E union F complement will become a subset of F complement. So in all the cases E union F will belong to A. So A is an algebra. In fact, given a ring, we can always construct a bigger class which will be an algebra. We can do it in the following way. Let us consider R to be a ring, and we define the class A to be the class of all subsets of omega, such that either E belongs to R or E complement belongs to R. Then once again A is an algebra. The proof of this statement is almost the same as the previous exercise, because in the previous exercise, if you replace the ring to be the class of all countable subsets of omega and you implement this definition, then the proof will be same. Thank you.